And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did crowd for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shivering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. The date today is the 9th of October, 2009. It is 8 p.m. BST. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In other times, it is other places. In other places, it's probably other times as well. Might make more sense. I don't care. It sounds good. It's sort of like words, but not really words. It's the sounds of words. You know they're there. You know they look like words. They smell like words. They sound like words, but they're not really words because they don't really make any sense. And if you want some rough interpretation of what that's like, just listen to any political speech. Pretty much the same thing, just lots of words, no real substance to it. My name is Total Biscuit, this is Blue Please, here on WoW Radio, WCRadio.com. What have I got coming up for you in the show today? Wondrous, wondrous things, the likes of which you have never seen! Ah, wonderful. Well, some of it is, some of it isn't. Some of it's quite negative. There's a shocker. Guys! Okay, let me just make this clear. It's gotta be said. It has to be said at the end of the day. Over 9,000 blithering idiot. This show is not a very positive show. Why isn't it a very positive show, Mr. Total Biscuit? Well, I will tell you why it's not a very positive show, Mr. Total Biscuit, as I grin through my teeth in a very disingenuous manner. It's not a very positive show because there's not a lot of positive things to talk about. If you want a positive show, you might want to tell the people responsible for that to start doing stuff that doesn't suck horribly. Then you will get the positive show. Oh yes, you'll get the celebration. It'll be wondrous. It'll be a thing to remember. It's happened before. There are episodes where I've been very positive. When positive things have happened. It should speak volumes that the majority of my episodes are negative. Call it as I see it, folks. So we had 2 forum posts. Not 1, but 2 forum posts that disclaimed, or indeed proclaimed, possibly both, their displeasure for last week's show, Show 101, which they said, oh, it's very negative. Oh, no. Yeah, it's very negative, you know. Well, yes, it was rather negative, wasn't it? Is that going to change? Yeah, probably not. There's a lot of nasty things that have to be said today. There's some positive as well. But, you know, not really my responsibility, to be honest. It's not my responsibility to put out a positive show when all I see are negative things. That would be lying. That would, in fact, be irresponsible and dishonest. One would imagine. Do you want irresponsible and dishonest? I can do that, if you want. I can learn from the best. I can look at WoW.com. Whatever you want. If that's what you want, I'll do it for you. But it won't be called Blue Please, that I can guarantee you. Right. First thing is first. You may be aware, you certainly should be aware, I've played the song on the show enough, that there was a wonderfully talented young lady by the name of Fatty, at least that's how she likes to call herself on the interwebs, who created a song called Nerdcore. And it was very good. And it won by a significant margin our WoW Idol 2009 contest. It also happened to win the BlizzCon Song Contest, the edited no sweary version, which is not quite as good as the non-edited, very, very sweary version. I prefer that one, but hey, it was all good. Obvious talent there, lots of talent. So, this person happened to move house. I believe she now lives in Brooklyn. And decided to adopt a cat from a rescue home, which, to start with, is a very kind act. And anyone that does this, bearing in mind that, say, my wife actually volunteers at a rescue home, which is amazing. I think anyone that volunteers at something like that is a very, very good human being. It shows virtue, and it's sad to say that there's not a lot of that these days. It's becoming an increasingly rare commodity, and as such, it's becoming a more precious commodity that one should value and respect. Now, this cat was going to be put down because this cat was, let's just say, he has a problem. And his problem is that he has a hole in his skull. Yeah, not good. Malformed skull, hole in the skull. And the only reason that he's not dead already is that he has a large cyst above the hole, which is actually protecting it. However, of course, cysts, as you're aware, if you've ever had one, and I've unfortunately had one, it's not very nice. I'm sure some of you have also suffered through it. Well, they aren't very pleasant, and they tend to be quite painful, and that is the case for this very small kitten, going by the name of Sir Noggin, named so because of the cyst on the head, the noggin, as we like to call it over here. Now, it's a risky business, because if this cyst ever bursts, which is pretty terrible, then the cat is at great risk of dying, which is very depressing. What is more depressing still is the fact that every once a week or so, this cyst causes the cat immense pain. Not good. Which is unfortunate, because the rest of the week this cat is very happy-go-lucky, very personality-driven little individual. Now, this can be fixed, thankfully. There is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. This can be fixed. A CT scan, followed by a procedure to surgically remove the cyst and make a flap to cover the exposed brain, will literally make him all better, and he'll be able to live a long and thoroughly happy life. Now, of course, it's a time of economic crisis. It's coming to an end, hopefully, but there are a lot of us still suffering as a result of the recession. So, to take in a distressed animal during a recession is, of course, a very charitable act. But expecting someone who doesn't have a lot of money to come up with the $4,000 required to get all of these procedures done and get the cat all fixed up, well, that's a little bit trickier. So, a website was set up called sirnoggin.com, and that will be posted in the IRC channel for those of you who are there. If you are not, and you're listening live, you're making a grave error. WCRadio.com, click the chat button on the top of the screen to get involved. Alternatively, IRC.MMOIRC.com, hash or pound WoW Radio, point your favourite IRC client over there. You will join in the fun and festivities in the IRC channel as always. Sirnoggin.com, spelled S-E, no, let's try that again, SIRNOGGIN.com. That's the cat's website, raising money. So far, thanks to the post on the front page and various tweeting, we have raised 79% of that 4,000 in a little over a week. How impressive is that? That's amazingly impressive. Just a little bit more to go. I think we can do it. What do you reckon? So, if you've got a PayPal account, maybe got a little bit spare change, every little helps, literally. We've just got to raise, like, another, 1,100 out of the 4,000? Think about it. Think of how many listeners this show gets. Think about those of you with PayPal accounts, maybe have a couple of dollars lying around. Think about what that could do. It seems relatively minor in comparison to a lot of crazy things that are going on in the world these days to go and try and save a cat, of all things. After all, it's just an animal, right? Well, it's the act in and of itself that matters. It's not the recipient of said act. It's possible to care about every charity in the world, but I wouldn't expect you to have much of a life beyond that. It's possible to get upset about absolutely everything wrong that goes on in the world, but again, I wouldn't expect you to have much of a life as a result of that. The act of saving a small animal might seem inconsequential, but what it shows to me is that despite all of the negativity that goes on this show, and all of the things that I say about idiots and morons and blithering imbeciles, that the majority of the human race is actually good, intelligent people, very compassionate people, who are willing to go out of their way to help someone else out and save a little creature, regardless of the fact that, hey, everyone's hurting for money right now. And I would challenge all of you to go, if you haven't already, maybe just wait till after the show or a music break, go and watch the video that's on SirNoggin.com, and I would challenge you to get to the end without crying, because I failed on that one. I'll happily admit that. I'm a sucker for animals, what can I say? So go do it. We're so close. Actually, looking at it now, we only need just over $800. That's nothing. Think of the number, think of the thousands upon thousands of people that listen to the show. Think about how easy it would be. Think about how happy it would make someone. It's as simple as that. Right, well, that's the positive stuff out of the way. We'll be doing the mailbag after the break. I've got something else I want to talk about, and this is not going to be pleasant. So, you might be aware that for a little while we've been on the official Blizzard fan site list, and we had to battle quite a bit to get on there. For what reason, I do not know. I cannot fathom. Unfortunately, we're now not on the Blizzard official fan site list, and the reason that we were given for that is that there was the occasional gold ad and guide ad cropping up on our website. Now, of course, we have Google Ads. Anyone who's used Google Ads before knows that they're extremely difficult to filter. However, we did our very best to do so. And it's not like we would be the first site to have that. We've seen many on the official fan site list who have had ads like that before, while Wiki continues to, and yet still remains on there, for whatever reason. And so we've been removed as a result of that. At least that's their rationale and their reasoning. Now, I'd like to ask Blizzard Entertainment, just to start with, how exactly it expects high-bandwidth fan sites like ourselves to actually survive without having Google Ads at this point. Because good luck getting anyone else to advertise with you during a recession. Good luck. That's really tricky. Google Ads are a lifeline, especially as we go into the age where more and more people are getting web savvy and they're starting to use ad block and they just don't want to see ads anymore. Revenue goes down. I believe during the economic crisis, the revenue from advertising on aggregate across the internet has gone down with 66%. That was the statistic that I've heard. And our bandwidth just keeps going up. That's the amount we have to use. We are shifting terabytes upon terabytes upon terabytes. I'm talking tens of terabytes. Many tens of terabytes every month just to keep WoW players entertained and informed. We do it out of the goodness of our heart. None of us get paid for it. So how exactly, Blizzard, do you expect fan sites to actually survive without Google Ads? Really? How do you expect that to be? There are some fan sites who have developed into proper, full-on money-making businesses, and they're able to pull in a massive amount of traffic. But hey, there are other fan sites that can't. The vast minority of fan sites are the ones that pull in the big ones. Very small number. We pull in quite a bit, but we haven't quite crossed that threshold, whereby people are going to throw money at us in order to keep the site running. But oh no, we saw a little gold ad on there that we try to filter out on a daily basis that snuck through because, hey, Google ad filtering is not that great, and what happens? It reminds me of something very odd. Blizzard, with their crusading, quote-unquote, not particularly effective crusading, I might add, against gold selling. Remember when I went on a crusade against gold selling? Yeah, I got permabanned for a year and a half on the EU forums. Don't do it Blizzard's way. Oh, we can't have that. Gotta get rid of them. Must toe the line. Now, it might seem ungrateful, but let's be honest here. Looking at our analytics, last month, about 1% of our new referrals came from the Blizzard fansite program. 1%. We got more from some random guy's WoW blog that no one else has ever heard of. We got more from my forum signature, for God's sake. And you want to know why? It's because they bury the damn things. I'm going to freely admit, I made a mistake in trying to get us on the fansite list. I did. I really did. Because back in the day, when Blizzard actually needed fan sites, they would be good to them. They don't need them anymore. They know this. However, they've got people willing to dote on them hand and foot for whatever godforsaken reason. Lord knows. I couldn't figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out why exactly we towed the line for so long. What do we get? Basically nothing. Terrible referrals, the occasional worthless competition prize. Here's a mug and some grunty cards. Great, that's pieces of plastic. Want an interview? Oh no, sorry, can't have that. We have our own official podcast for that, which is usually about 18 minutes long, and is banally dull. For God's sake, did you hear their first episode? Absolutely appalling production quality. Do you want to know how they improved it? Because I emailed them telling them how. And did they implement everything? Absolutely. Did they thank me on the show? No. Look at the nonsense. They can't promote a fan site worth a damn. Look at their Twitter feed, for God's sake. Look at the noise that comes out on that. You know what the first time they've ever promoted a fan site on that Twitter feed of theirs since it started up has been? Yeah, today, promoting the fact that they've replaced us with the Instance. And what about all those other podcasts? At least when they had us on the fan site program, they were promoting multiple podcasts and the hard work of people. And you know for a fact that I don't like many other WoW podcasts. I've never lied about that. I'm fine with that. Hey, it's called having taste. Personal taste, subjective taste. Some people like the Instance, some people don't. I'm not going to bash the Instance. The Instance is a well-produced show. You know, but when I say congratulations for getting on the fan site list, it's like, well, okay, yeah, you managed to get on the fan site list because they kicked us off. And you're not going to benefit at all. They are useless at promoting fan sites. And they don't seem to realise just how much value fan sites bring to this damn community. For them, it's all take, and no give. When was the last time you saw an interview on a fan site? Exactly. So, you know what? I feel liberated. Thank you, Blizzard, for kicking us off the fan site list. Now I don't have to toe the line for your nonsense anymore. Oh yeah, and thanks for BlizzCon 2009, thanks for BlizzCon 2005, and thanks for the year and a half's worth of blacklisting and snobbery, because you didn't have the balls to come out and tell us what was wrong. You corporate cowards. I'll be right back after this, folks. These are two amazing tracks that, of course, no one is going to hear because Blizzard won't tell anyone about them. They just want to show fan art and comics and say stupid bloody things across their Twitter feed. It's like it's aimed at 8-year-olds. This, on the other hand, is talent. Daryl Brewer, Brew Guy, one of the best WoW-related musicians I've ever heard. He might not get promotion from Blizzard, but he's damn well going to get promotion from me. And who matters more? With your 1% referrals. Who matters more? That's right. 2 remixes. Sonic the Hedgehog music. Chemical Plant Zone, followed by Green Hill. I'll be right back after this, folks. Enjoy.